Hello, good evening everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for our webinar this evening about a really exciting topic, top 5 routes to Italy via the Alps. I'm really excited today to get the opportunity to talk to you guys about some of our favorite ways of getting through to Italy. It's one of our most popular destinations. That's me. My name is Sarah Turner and I work in business development here at Railbookers. And as you'll be able to see on your screen there, one lucky person will win £50 off their next rail holiday with us. And absolutely everybody is going to be entitled to an exclusive attendee discount. So stay tuned to the end and I'll be revealing all then. You'll also be able to see at the bottom of your screen throughout the webinar our phone number and our email address. So definitely jot that down. Our consultants will be available right after the webinar finishes or all day tomorrow and at the weekend as well. So definitely give us a call, chat through your next rail holiday, whatever you think that might be. So before we dive into all the good stuff, it'd be great to have the opportunity to chat to you guys about why book with Railbookers. And the most important thing we hope that you guys already know is that we are the rail experts. We have got such a great team here in our London office of what we like to call self-confessed train geeks. And I do always say I'm not sure that they're all too fond of that name. I think they prefer the term aficionados, but they really do know their stuff. They've got a great knowledge of the best routes, the best timings, all the different rail systems throughout the world. And what they do is use our insider access. So we have direct partnerships with rail companies, with hotels, with sightseeing providers all over the world, throughout Europe, throughout North America, beyond that as well. And that means that we have access to special rates, to special availability that's just not accessible to the public. And we use that to provide you with the utmost flexibility, really. So you can book your holiday with us even if tickets aren't on sale to the public yet. As well as that, you can tailor-make anything that you've seen on our website or on one of these webinars or maybe in our brochure. You tell us exactly what you want to do and we'll be able to custom make a trip just for you. And it's all about making it hassle-free. We know that it can be really complicated. There's so many different routes, providers, different times, different trains, different languages even. And I've been here almost 5 years and I'm still learning. But that's where we step in. We're here to kind of take all of the confusion and the stress out of it. So all you've got to do is show up and enjoy your trip. That's why we're really proud to have won multiple awards in our industry, and we're always especially proud of the ones that are voted for by our customers. So where do we go at Railbookers? Who are we? Where do we go? You can book rail holidays all over Europe, all over the USA, all over Canada, and far beyond that as well with Railbookers. On your screen there, you'll see just a couple of the different types of holiday that we can offer. You'll see scenic rail journeys there, and we're definitely going to be talking about some of our favorite scenic rail journeys on the webinar today. Some fantastic options all over the world just to kind of, avoid the motorways and avoid flying and really get up close and personal with the amazing scenery that's available when you take the train. City breaks as well. Maybe you don't have as long, or maybe you just want to quickly take the train to one of your favorite destinations. A lot of people are so surprised at how far you can go by train so quickly with these amazing high-speed routes in Europe. So whether it's Berlin, Barcelona, Switzerland, anywhere in France, it is absolutely possible to have some amazing city breaks by rail, and we love putting them together. Luxury and private train journeys are some of our favorite types of trip here at Railbookers. Anything from the Venice Simplon-Orient-Express to the Rocky Mountaineer. If you've got a special occasion coming up, or you've got a big, luxury train journey on your bucket list, definitely let us know. Rail and sail as well. A couple of you I know are cruise buffs, and if you wanted to add on a rail trip at the beginning or the end of the holiday, or maybe take one of our amazing Alaska cruises, combine that with a trip on the Rocky Mountaineer through Canada, definitely give us a call with any inquiries like that. and lakes and mountains holidays, coast to coast USA and Canada. Just a couple of the different types of themed holidays that we can offer and the kind of trips that our customers keep coming back to and that we absolutely love organising. With that in mind, here are a couple of our top destinations, and you can see slap bang in the middle there, Italy, which we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about different ways that you can get down from the UK to Italy by train, but places like Scandinavia and Switzerland as well, absolutely phenomenal scenery available through the windows of the train, some great scenic journeys available. And Spain and Portugal is a great one, especially if, like me, you're kind of looking out the window and wondering where the summer went, if it ever happened at all. It's happening in Spain and Portugal, and it lasts so much longer than it does here. So we can certainly arrange rail trips to take all of the hassle of flying out of your holiday and get you down to Spain, Portugal, and Southern Europe. The USA and Canada there as well, of course, some of our top destinations, just for the sheer magnitude of those countries and the amazing rail journeys available there. Here are a couple of our top itineraries, a really great mixture of itineraries. You've got places like Prague, Berlin, Prague, Vienna, and Budapest, where you can use the trains to see 4 different capital cities in one holiday with really short, amazingly high-speed rail links between each place. Madrid and Andalucia and Scandinavian Grand Tour again, mixing the culture of different cities, really getting a flavour for the place that you're visiting by using the trains. Italian lakes by the Alps, I will come back to in this presentation, don't worry about that. Some obviously gorgeous lakeside resorts in Italy that it's very, very nice to combine the relaxation of your trip to the lakes with the relaxation of travelling by train. The Polish Explorer is a great itinerary as well, for a bit of an off-the-beaten-track one that we're seeing is really, really popular at the moment for people who want to do something different, for people who, you know, want to, as I say, get off the beaten track and explore some cultural gems that maybe they've not visited before. Canada coast to coast, I'll chat to you guys a little bit about that at the end as well, because just look at that scenery there. This is definitely one that encapsulates just how wonderful rail travel can be. Do you have any questions? Please let me know. Put my rail knowledge to the test. Type them in the box that should be to the right of your screen, and I'll be very happy to provide answers to as many as I can get around to at the end of this webinar. Fair warning, we do get loads and loads of questions, so if I don't get around to answering yours, please don't worry. Somebody will be in touch. They'll be happy to chat through the answers and answer any other questions you might have as well after the webinar. Okay, let's get started. Venice via the Alps. This is one that we've chosen because it is pretty much, if Railbookers had a signature holiday, this would be it. And it showcases our newest and really exciting way of getting down to Italy through the Alps, traveling through Geneva. You'll see from the map there, you'll start off your journey in London, travel through Paris, just a quick change of stations in Paris. You'll get to Geneva. It's only about 3 hours trip on a high-speed TGV train from Paris itself. So you can be in Geneva as early as sort of 3:30 in the afternoon, spend the afternoon, get some dinner in Geneva, and then travel through the Alps down to Italy along the Simplon Pass. It is an incredibly scenic journey from Geneva down to Venice. You're going to pass, along the banks of kind of the Italian lakes. You're going to go past snow-capped mountains. Even in the summer, you can still see the snow dusting the top of these mountains. Absolutely beautiful journey. And Simplon Pass, you might have guessed, yep, it's the same route, a lot of it, that the Venice Simplon-Orient Express itself travels on. So you'll be getting the exact same scenery. It really is beautiful. Here's a great picture of Lake Geneva in Geneva itself. Two people obviously enjoying the banks of the lakes there. Obviously a fantastic city and one of our favorites in Switzerland. Very excited to be bringing this route to you for 2018 or for this year as well, whenever it is that you want to travel. Geneva itself obviously famous as being their HQ for the UN and for the lake, just a fantastic views as you can see there. It really is beautiful. You can see the jet d'eau fountain on the side there. It's an amazing jet of water, absolutely wonderful. They light it up at night. It's very, very pretty. And as I said, it's only a couple of hours away from Paris by train, and that's a really scenic TGV journey that our customers really, really enjoy. And now for the good bit. This is one of the most scenic ways possible to get down to Italy. Switzerland, the Swiss Alps, one of the most scenic areas of the whole world, really, and just so easy to discover by train. From Geneva to Venice, there is actually a direct train if you'd like to take the direct one. It leaves quite early in the morning, about 7:30, but maybe you're an early bird. If not, it's just a quick change of platform in Milan, so incredibly easy to get from Geneva down to Venice. And this picture of the Swiss Alps will just encapsulate some of the amazing scenery that you're going to see along the way. And when you contrast that to kind of everything that we've been seeing in the news recently you know, passport queues being longer than flights and thousands of people in airports. Look at that. I mean, it's no contest, really, if you ask me. At the end of your journey, you will arrive in Venice. And if you have never arrived in Venice by rail before, even that in itself, even arriving is somewhat of an affair in Venice. You're going to pass the lagoon as you kind of pull in. You get to Venice itself, walk out of the station. The Grand Canal is right in front of you. It really do. You get that amazing sense of arrival when you travel by train, and bang in the center of town as well, so likely that your hotel will be really, really close by. All of the hotels that we work with at Railbookers are obviously right in the centers of the city. You can see gondola rides and things going on there as well, and this is a really great time to mention if you want us to organize anything like that, a gondola ride, or you know, a skip the line entrance tickets, or a walking tour, because it's easy to get lost in Venice, but that is part of the beauty of it, I think. Then just ask us, just speak to your consultant, and they'll be very happy to look into that. They're a very well-traveled team. A lot of them have been to Venice, so they'll definitely be able to give you some recommendations. There are the inclusions for our Venice via the Alps holiday, showcasing the amazing Simplon Pass. Really excited to be bringing that to you guys. Very, very beautiful trip, and as I said, just no contest compared to a flight. You can see that at the end of the holiday, we can include a flight back from Venice to London, or whatever your regional airport is. Of course, it doesn't have to be London, but the rail option is available as well. Most people will like to travel out the really beautifully scenic way and then travel back with a stop in Turin so that they can experience another Italian city, and then it's a really quick link back to Paris, back to London the next day. A really, really nice journey and another way of getting into Italy or out of Italy. Lake Garda via the Alps is an absolutely fantastic trip, one that's really, really popular here at Railbookers. Even Theresa May is enjoying Lake Garda at the moment, so it really is a fantastic destination. You can see here a different route of getting to Italy. Again, starting in London, you're going to travel down to Paris. In Paris, it is just a really quick change of stations, so about 2 hours from London down to Paris. You'll need to change stations, but we'll provide all the instructions. It's very easy. Don't worry, you know, if you don't speak the language or if you've never, you know, been to Paris before and you don't know the stations well, it's incredibly simple. Or we can book transfers if you'd like to transfer between the two cities. Completely up to you. There's even a gorgeous restaurant called Le Train Bleu within Gare de Lyon, where the TGV for Switzerland leaves, which is a nice place to use sort of as your first-class waiting room almost, and really, really delicious food and ornate ceilings. One of the most beautiful restaurants in Paris, and certainly one of the, one of the most amazing restaurants within train stations there ever could be. From Paris, you're going to travel down to Bâle, quick change platform, and you'll be in Lucerne, which is a really, really beautiful, another amazing Swiss destination. This time you're going to travel down through the Gotthard Pass. So it's a different pass route, still through the Swiss Alps. It's, passes, if you're a rail geek like us, are a bit of a collector's item. People like to travel on lots of different ones because they do all have their own subtle flavor. Really, really nice journey, this one. Lucerne down to Milan. Just that quick platform change. You'll be in Sirmione, which is an absolutely gorgeous town on the banks of the lake, perfect for using as a hub. And here is Lucerne in all its glory, one of my favorites of all the Swiss cities that I've visited, certainly. It's a great town if you're a bit of a history buff like I am. Just loads of preserved medieval architecture in the colourful old town you can see there. That bridge is very, very famous. The Chapel Bridge dates all the way back to 1333. I think I remembered that right. I think it's 1333. And it's got sort of like lovely drawings and things inside. And you can see, you know, the ducks swimming on the lake. And it's just a gorgeous place lot of lakeside dining opportunities available. If you wanted to add in another night so that you can spend a full day exploring Lucerne, that would be a really nice idea if you've got a bit of time to play with. Definitely just talk to us about that. And there is Lake Garda. You can see it, absolutely beautiful, so serene. And as I said earlier, it's really nice if you do just want to relax. The relaxing element of traveling down through the Alps, through the Gotthard Pass, is so relaxing and so enjoyable. And Lake Garda at the end is just such a relaxing environment again. So definitely none of the hustle, bustle, panic of kind of, your quick, low-cost airlines or anything like that. If Lake Garda, maybe if you've already been or it's not the one that takes your fancy, this route works equally well with Lake Como, obviously a famous favorite of George Clooney, or Lake Maggiore, or all three, travel to all three of them, spend a week in each. That would be a lovely thing to do if you've got the time. Equally, all of these routes that we're talking about, so all of the different passes and ways down to Italy, the end station that we've got in our itineraries, the end station that we're recommending, doesn't have to be the one that you pick. Obviously, if you wanted to take the Gotthard Pass down to Venice or the Simplon Pass to the lakes, that's definitely something that's possible. You can see another amazing picture of Lake Garda there, and also our inclusions, but it's the picture of Lake Garda that really catches my eye. We've got a 4-night hotel stay with breakfast in Simeone, which is just a really good hub. It's got a nice bit of bustle to it, and lots of exciting opportunities for restaurants and a lot of history and a lot of nice things to do, but also a really nice place so that you can take lots of little boat trips out to the other places along the banks of the lake. So definitely our recommendation for when you're traveling down to Lake Garda. This itinerary is one of my favorites, so I love including this one so I can talk to you guys all about all of the different train journeys that you can do throughout Switzerland. This one goes into Austria as well to experience the Austrian Alps as you travel down to Verona. You start in London again through Paris. You'll take that same high-speed TGV, this time to Zurich, only a couple of hours between Paris and Zurich, where you'll spend a night before traveling down to Lakeside Lugano on the Italian-Swiss border. And you'll take a Bernina bus, so the famous Bernina Express Scenic train's sister bus trip to Tirano. The Bernina Express itself, a famous scenic train up to Kur. Then travel a scenic journey through the Alps again to Innsbruck in Austria and down through the Brenner Pass to Verona. So this is kind of a lot of scenic journeys combined in one. This is going to be the ultimate scenic way to get down to Italy. If you've got the time and you want to see a bit of Switzerland, zigzag through Switzerland, Austria as you go, you could definitely do it a quicker way, travel to Tirano and then travel down because you're already in Italy. You don't have to go back. But, I mean, if you've got the time, the scenery is unparalleled, really unmissable. The first city on this itinerary is Zurich. You can see the gorgeous sun dazzling off at the River Limmat there. And Zurich is obviously very well known for banking and for its kind of cosmopolitan feel, but it's actually got such a beautiful and extensive old town as well. Really, really rich history in Zurich and a lot of opportunities for al fresco dining, especially if you're a fan of raclette and you like the idea of eating that on the banks of the river, then it may well be the city for you. It's a fantastically easy to get to. If you did want to add another night to have a full day to explore, that's no problem for us to organise. From Zurich, it's a nice scenic journey down to Lugano. So in the Ticino canton, it's got a really Italian flavour. It is still a Swiss city, but it's right on the border. So you get kind of the Swiss Alps and a lot of the Swiss, kind of feel to it. But it's an undeniable Italian flavour, a lot of Italian sunshine as well. So Lugano is a really interesting place to see the mixture of those two cultures. Again, a beautiful venue for kind of boat trips. You can even swim in Lake Lugano. It's really, really beautiful if you fancy a dip, if you're feeling adventurous. But it's an absolutely wonderful place to visit. And it's also going to be the hub to take the Bernina bus and then the Bernina Express. And you can just see in that picture, that's the Landwasser Viaduct. So it's very, very famous. One of the most beautiful points on the route. Obviously, it looks lovely to take pictures of it as well, really high up. The Bernina Express definitely lives up to its reputation as one of the most scenic train journeys in the whole world. The train itself has got these huge panoramic windows that stretch right up to the ceiling of the train, and it takes 4 hours to go just 90 miles. So it's lovingly referred to as the world's slowest express train, and I'm sure you can understand why. A lot of the tracks that it travels on are UNESCO World Heritage listed, the whole route UNESCO World Heritage listed. You'll travel over 55 tunnels and over 196 bridges. So there is always something to see in those 4 hours. It's jam-packed with things to see out the window. You will be glued to your window like I was, I know that. Off the Bernina Express, you'll pull into Kur, the capital of the Graubünden and the oldest town in Switzerland. Very, very small, very, very walkable, pretty quaint, typically Swiss little town. The whole of the old town is actually completely car-free, so it's a lovely place to walk around and get your bearings and spend a night en route in the heart of the Swiss Alps, before traveling to Innsbruck and then on down to Verona through the Brenner Pass. So another one to add to your bucket list of Swiss passes, which, believe me, people in our office do have because they're all fantastic. You'll end up in Verona, which is definitely a fantastic Italian place. If you've been to, Venice, Florence, Rome, maybe, what people might call the main cities, Verona is absolutely beautiful, made famous, obviously, by Shakespeare for both Two Gentlemen of Verona, but also Romeo and Juliet. You can go and see Juliet's balcony in Verona itself. You can also pay a visit to the first century Roman amphitheatre. They actually do quite a lot of opera performances and things like that there in the summer, so if you're interested in that, we can organise those tickets. Just let us know. We'll be happy to look into it if you're a bit of an opera fan. Verona, again, is very, very walkable. It's a really nice, small, compact centre, easy to stroll down the banks of the river and to get everywhere you'd like to go by walking. Our hotel's going to be in the centre of the city, of course, so you'll be perfectly located. And I have it on good authority from a couple of my colleagues here who've travelled extensively in Italy that it's some of the best Italian food they've ever had. So really, really nice place to go if you're interested in food and certainly wine as well. There is inclusions for our Verona and the Bernina Express holiday. It's 7 nights, but that's going to be really easy to extend if you'd like to spend an extra night in some of those cities you've visited along the way. All of your seat reservations for these scenic trains will be included, of course, absolutely. You can see the panoramic carriages of the Bernina Express that I spoke about there, so absolutely gorgeous. That's obviously in the middle of winter. If you travel in the summer, you'll still get a dusting of snow on the peaks of the mountains, but it will still be absolutely, gorgeous kind of meadows and sort of, all the kind of verdant fields. Really, really beautiful. Completely different journey, to be honest, in the winter and in the summer. So we always like to say that people should do it twice. We're changing track a little bit now. Oh, I made an unintentional pun. We're changing track a little bit now and heading into Germany and Austria to travel down to Italy, because it doesn't have to be through the Swiss Alps at all. Obviously there's going to be some beautiful scenery through Bavaria, through Austria, and down into northern Italy, absolutely. You can see here that we've got a flight into Munich at the beginning of your journey, but if you wanted to travel out by train, please just let us know. It doesn't matter to us which you do, it's just based on your personal preference. You can travel from London down to Munich by train in less than a day. You wouldn't have to overnight anywhere because of how high speed those trains are. So if you'd like to do that, no problem at all. From there, travel Munich down to Innsbruck, gorgeous scenery of the Brenner Pass, and then continue the Brenner Pass down to Verona. So you're really going to get a whole myriad scenery that's available along that route. Munich is the first stop on this itinerary, though. If you travel out by train from the UK, you can travel from London to Paris, and then there's a direct train from Paris to Munich, or you can travel via Brussels and Cologne. You've got one more change, but it's quicker, so completely up to you which you'd rather do. Our consultants can talk you through the options. Munich, obviously very famous as being the home of Oktoberfest. And even when Oktoberfest isn't on, it's certainly a great city for kind of beer and for festivities and things like that. You may well have heard of the famous Hofbrauhaus with its Umperband music and big steins of beer, one of the most famous beer halls in the whole of Germany, and certainly something not to miss if it's your first time in Munich. You can see some amazing Gothic, neo-Gothic architecture there, and the whole of the old town, the Altstadt, is really, really pretty. And you can see, I really like this picture actually, because you can see kind of how the heritage and the history and the old architecture of Munich really marries with the modern cosmopolitan feel, because it is the capital of Bavaria, obviously, Munich. So it's a really great city of two halves like that. If you'd like to organise a walking tour, especially maybe one through the English Gardens, those are beautiful, especially in the spring, summer, autumn. So definitely talk to us about that. Happy to organise a walking tour of those for you. From Munich, take the train, a beautiful scenic journey down to Innsbruck in Austria. Famous perhaps for being a former host of the Winter Olympic Games, and if you're interested in winter sports or anything like that, you know, this really is a hub just because of its incredible position, sort of nestled between so many different alpine peaks. A top tip for Innsbruck is that there is a funicular railway that will take you up for beautiful views. So that's definitely, you do have a night in Innsbruck on this itinerary. So that would be my one thing not to miss while you're there. I did make a joke earlier about it, putting the fun in funicular, but nobody laughed. So I've made it again anyway, because I think it's really funny. It's a very walkable city, Innsbruck, lots to do, and the capital of the Tyrol in Austria. So really, really gorgeous place to visit. The journey down from Innsbruck to Verona is going to go on the Brenner Pass. That is a picture taken along the Brenner route in the autumn. It is absolutely beautiful scenery. Actually, if you take the Orient-Express northbound, so if you were to take it from Venice back up to London, this would be a lot of the route you'd be travelling on. On the way down, it travels on the Simplon Pass. On the way up, it travels on Arlberg and Brenner. So more of that later, but it is an absolutely phenomenal journey. Really, really scenic. You can see the mountains there, of course, the little traditional villages and things like that that you'll go past. Fantastic at any time of year. These trains run all year round. They're not tourist trains. They're not, you know, special trains. They can go anytime. So even in the dead of winter, you're going to get absolutely phenomenal scenery on this route. And there's another picture of Verona, just like we saw on the last holiday. If you wanted to link this up with somewhere like Venice, there are direct trains, so that would be a really nice thing to do. And again, I should say, you know, we're focusing a lot on maybe northern Italy, but once you're into Italy, through whatever entry point you come into, the high-speed train network is fantastic in Italy. It's so comprehensive. The trains are so nice, clean, comfortable, modern, you know, really, really comfy. Lots of different classes of service as well. It's not only necessarily standard and first, you can upgrade to executive to premium, so definitely worth talking to us about that. Once you're into Italy, you know, if you wanted to travel down to Florence, to Rome, that's obviously very, very easy. But if you wanted to visit, you know, the Cinque Terre, the Amalfi Coast, some of the regions by the ocean, then that's definitely there's some things that we can organise as well, something really popular to do. These are just the ways to get into Italy. Once you're there, the world is your oyster. You know, it's just a fantastic country and definitely somewhere to see as much of as you can. There are the inclusions for our Brenner Pass holiday. It goes through Munich, Innsbruck and Verona. It does have flights from Munich, London to Munich and from Verona to London, but we can change that to rail travel so easily. Or, you know, if you wanted to travel all the way out by rail to get the relaxation and then just fly home at the end for speed, no problem at all. You let us know and we'll be very, very happy to organise it however you like it. No two holidays with Railbookers are really ever the same. We've saved one of the best for last now, the Venice Simplon-Orient-Express, incredibly famous all over the world for really harking back to the golden age of rail travel, as it were. This is one of the most luxurious train journeys on the planet, so it may well already be on your bucket list. You may well have been lucky enough to already have done it. It is fantastically scenic. You know, got that beautiful scenery you can see in that picture there. but as well the levels of comfort, of service, you know, the food, the drinks, everything about it is just second to none on the Orient Express. So that's a really nice way if you want, you know, the ultimate luxurious way of getting from the UK to Italy. Definitely this is it. And as I mentioned earlier, if you wanted to travel out to Italy and home from Italy, both on the Orient Express, you will go on different routes. So that's a really nice thing some of our customers like to do if if you've got the time, or if it's a very special occasion. Travel out along the Simplon Pass, back along the Arlberg and the Brenner Pass. It's a bit of a different routing because people do like to do the Orient Express both ways. They want to give you the best of the scenery. And here's a little sneak peek inside the train, what it's like on board the Venice Simplon-Orient Express. This is actually the same compartment. It's the interior of one of the compartments on the train for 2 people. On the left-hand side, that's what it looks like in the day. On the right-hand side is what it looks like when it's been turned down for the evening. So what normally happens is when you are at dinner enjoying your sumptuous four-course dinner included with your journey, your personal steward's going to come into your room and turn it down in that way, make it look absolutely lovely. You can see on the nighttime picture towards the left of it, that's where the wash basin is. So you've got a private wash basin for you to use. And if neither of you wanted to climb up to the top bunk, they do organise cabin suites as well that we're very happy to organise for you if you just ask us. And then you'll have connecting rooms with 2 lower bunks and a whole load of space. But there's already enough space to store your luggage and things like that. So definitely don't worry about that bit. And this is my favorite slide when talking about the Orient Express, the food. The gastronomic experience on board is second to none, really, certainly of, of the trains that are going to travel down to Italy. It is really, truly gourmet. On your journey included, you're going to get a 4-course dinner, a 3-course lunch, afternoon tea, breakfast as well. And they pick up the food along the way, a lot of it. So it's really local specialties and very, very fresh produce. It's not unusual. We've had reports from customers of seeing, live lobsters being loaded onto the train when it pulls to make a brief stop. So it's that fresh. It's that delicious as well. Worth noting that you'll get a choice of dining rooms. So if you just let your steward know, they're very accommodating, as I'm sure you can imagine. So just let him know if you've got a choice. There are a couple. Your consultants will be able to chat through which one's like which, or you can just go lucky dip because they're all beautiful. And the wine list, you can see wine in those pictures there. The wine list is very extensive as well, so you can look and sort of make your own selections of which of the amazing wines that you'd like to try with your meal. After dinner, if you don't want to head straight to bed, that's when the party starts, as it were. The social hub of the train is kind of the piano bar, where they have a live musician, sort of absolutely beautiful music, real professionals. This will be after dinner. You can have cocktails, really expert bartenders are going to mix you up whatever you like. And it's just a fantastic way to genuinely feel like you've traveled back in time to a different age of rail travel, as I said before. Meet other like-minded travelers and just soak up the luxurious environment, because it really is. You can see everyone's dressed up to the nines. It's just a fantastic way to travel. You can see the inclusions for that holiday there. Obviously, when you get to Venice itself, the views are amazing as you pull into Venice. You'll have a transfer included to your hotel. And as well, definitely worth mentioning, the scenery, as we did, the Arlberg Pass and Brenner Pass on the northbound route, or the Simplon Pass and Gotthard as well on the southbound route. So just a fantastic experience. If you do have a special occasion coming up or something that you want to treat yourself or your partner to, this is definitely the one, our top luxurious way to travel down to Italy by train. So I hope that I've taught you something about the different kind of routes to travel down to Italy. Those are 5 routes that just concentrate on the Alps. There are even more ways of getting down to Italy that don't take in the mountains, but are equally fantastic to do maybe by train, depending on what you're looking for. You can travel down through France and do it that way. There's a sleeper train that will take you to Venice as well, or you can go the quickest way of traveling to Italy by rail, just changing trains in Paris after that 2-hour Eurostar from London and traveling down to Turin or Milan. There's direct trains from Paris, so that's definitely a way that you could do it if you were, wanted to do it a bit quicker, but definitely go for one of those amazing alpine routes if you do have the time. And with Railbookers, you can see there, you can go all over Europe, all over the USA, all over Canada, much, much further than that as well. Wherever it is you're thinking of going, let us know how we can help. You'll be a bit more acquainted with some of our scenic rail journeys there. You can see on the holiday types that we've spoken about some of those amazing alpine ones, not just confined to getting to Italy, of course. The whole of Europe, the USA, Canada are filled with these amazing scenic rail journeys because the trains go where the motorways don't. The trains go where, you know, you'd never see this amazing scenery if you flew over the top of it, would you? City breaks as well. It's definitely possible to do a city break to Italy by rail if you wanted to take the sleeper train or you wanted to travel down to Turin, Milan. We do loads of city breaks by rail down to Italy and, of course, to many other destinations as well. We've seen the Orient-Express, but that's not the only private train journey we can offer. So if there is one that's burning on your bucket list, let us know and let us know how we can make that a reality for you guys. Rail and sail if you want to combine with a cruise, or lakes and mountains. Of course, we've seen some of the amazing lakes and mountains of Switzerland, Austria, and Italy today. Coast to coast USA and Canada as well. Some of those epic bucket list trips that we know a lot of people like to do. I myself have just got back off a coast to coast trip through the USA, from LA up to San Francisco and then all the way to Boston. And a lot of our team certainly have done these amazing journeys. So, you know, I can't shut up about my holiday that I've just done. So we'll be really happy to chat with you, give advice, give tips, give, you know, all the information and design the perfect itinerary so that you're taking in all the cities you want to take in on these bigger trips. Italy there again on our top destinations list, but we do go all over Europe. Some of these, Italy, Switzerland, the USA, are going to be ones that, you know, are always really, really popular with our customers. I know you've got some coming up, like Germany is really popular at the moment. Scandinavia, you know, everybody wants to kind of see the amazing cities and the amazing rail journeys that they've heard of in Scandinavia, and those are some that we love putting together. Going to quickly show you a couple of itineraries that you can do so that you know what kind of options are available when traveling by rail in Europe and beyond that as well. If you wanted to kind of combine some cities, if you're sort of traveling because you really, really love the destinations, you want to see the amazing history and culture, this is a great itinerary because it's got 4 fantastic capital cities with each journey in the middle just a couple of hours long. So really, really great. You can travel from Berlin down to Prague, Vienna, Budapest. You know, you can get all the way out to Berlin in a day by rail from the UK, which is phenomenal when you think of the distance. But the high-speed trains really do make that a possibility. So this is a fantastic journey and one that's going to be really, really popular, using the trains to get further than you ever sort of could if you were driving. Madrid and Andalucia is a fantastic journey that's really popular. If you wanted to take the train down to Madrid, that's a really nice thing to do. You can travel all the way down through France, some beautiful scenery, as I'm sure you can imagine. Get into Madrid, and then with this holiday, a couple of nights in Seville, Cordoba, and Granada. You know, this is the home of tapas and flamenco dancing, and if you wanted us to organize a trip to the Alhambra for you in Granada as well, we can do that with skip-the-line passes, so that's definitely something fantastic to do. And as I mentioned before, the weather is going to be sunny there so much longer than it's going to be sunny here, so it's a really nice autumn kind of break to do, maybe in October or November. That would be my preference. It's a bit quieter, but you've still got the nice warm weather. Scandinavian tour I love to talk about because this is one that I did in its entirety myself. It must be 3 years ago now. Time really flies. But it's fantastic to travel all the way out through Germany up to Denmark by train. There used to be a sleeper, and now you can do it by day, which in all fairness I actually preferred because it's got one of the most amazing trains, the boat train between Puttgarden and Rodby, I think is what it is. So that's fantastic, a fantastic journey. You can definitely get off the train and have a look around and walk on the deck of the ship as it crosses. Then you've got a couple of fantastic journeys. My 2 favorites, it's a bit of a toss-up, but the journey from Copenhagen to Gothenburg, from Denmark to Sweden, is fantastic because you pass over the Øresund Bridge, which is a marvel of engineering. It really, really is. You know, very famous. You might have seen pictures of it, but everyone on the train kind of, you know, piles to the windows to look out and take all the pictures. But my favorite was from Gothenburg. Gothenburg is an amazing city. It's definitely maybe the foodie capital of Sweden. So if you love food as much as I do, it's definitely one to add to your list. And the journey from Gothenburg to Oslo was so scenic, and I didn't really particularly expect it to be as gorgeous as it was, because it was a practical journey for me. I wanted to go to Gothenburg, I wanted to go to Oslo, but it was beautiful traveling through, lots of little Scandinavian towns with fields, very, very typically Scandinavian, I thought, if that makes sense, and a really, really delightful journey. From Oslo, if you wanted us to organise a trip out to the fjords, that's definitely something that we could do. This is a really nice holiday to extend if you do have the time, because Norway has got some of the most amazing scenery in the whole world. Our product manager is there at the moment. She keeps sending me pictures, and I am so jealous of how beautiful these train journeys look up in Norway. So definitely think about adding that on if you did want to travel to Scandinavia. And then this has got a flight home from Stockholm back to London, but if you wanted to travel back by train, that would be no problem at all. Crossing the Atlantic now, so a little bit of a different one. Canada coast to coast is, definitely a big bucket list adventure. You're going to use the trains to kind of traverse what is one of the largest countries in the world. So it involves a lot of time on the train, which when the train is like it is in Canada, is a real delight. So you're going to experience first a bit of the French-speaking regions up there in Quebec, Montreal. Going to have 2 nights in the fantastically cosmopolitan city of Toronto, of course, with a day trip to Niagara Falls, because that is something that you certainly cannot miss in that part of the world. An absolutely phenomenal, definitely one of the natural wonders of the world for sure. From there, it's 3 nights and 4 days on the train. You can break the journey if you'd like to, but, this is not a train like we have trains in the UK. There'll be an observation car with these huge windows, proper dining car where you can sit down and have a meal freshly prepared. Absolutely fantastic. So definitely a wonderful trip. Then you're going to get to the Canadian Rockies, travel through Jasper, Banff, spent some time in the national parks, just some of the most fun. Look at that picture there on the left. Some of the most amazing scenery from the side of the railway tracks in the whole world, certainly. We could also do this part of the journey by the Rocky Mountaineer if you'd like to. That's obviously a very, very famous train that a lot of people have kind of got on their bucket list. So if that was something you wanted to do, and instead of taking the, the Via Rail trains the whole way, but something up for the Rocky Mountaineer, just ask us. We'll build that in for you. That's no problem at all. We're going to fly home from Vancouver back to London. But if you've got some extra time, you can take the Coast Starlight from Seattle, which is only a couple of hours over the border, and you can do that by train down to Seattle, maybe travel all the way down to LA. But I get ahead of myself because there's so many fantastic things that you can do. You just let us know what you're interested in, and we'll be happy to offer advice. And the winner is, this is my favorite part of the webinar, and thank you so many of you for joining us. There can only be one winner, which today is Christina Skinner. So thank you very much, Christina, for joining us today, and hope that you've learned something about the kind of journeys down to Italy by rail, and you can use your £50 voucher on your next holiday with us, whatever it is. And absolutely everybody is going to get £25 off their next rail holiday. Make a note of that promo code there and just mention it to your consultant when you're booking your trip before the 31st of August, and you will be entitled to £25 per person off your holiday. Christina, these are combinable, so you can use this as well. And how do you book? Great question. It's the question. Give us a call, 0203 780-2382. We are open now. We're open until 8 o'clock tonight and 8 o'clock every weeknight. We're also open from 9 until 5:30 on Saturday. So as soon as you know what it is you want to do, or you've got an idea, you've got a something sparks, you're like, I know this is what I want to do. Give us a call. Let us handle all the arrangements. We're really looking forward to hearing from you. And that's all that's left today to say is thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for giving up an hour of your evening to listen to me wax lyrical about trains. It's certainly an absolute pleasure from my point of view to get to share this information with you. Thank you all for sending in so many questions. That's fantastic. We've only got time to answer a few because, as I said, I did wax lyrical a little bit. Go off on tangents and things, but this is a really, really good question. that we've got. This is a question from Debbie, and she's saying, how far in advance can she book? So she wants to go on holiday next year by the sounds of it, and when are our holidays available to be booked? And that's a really good question, and one that we get asked all the time. And it's definitely worth saying that the early bird gets the worm. There is no time really too early to be booking. If you want to go next year, give us a call. We're booking all the way through 2018 at the moment, so definitely not too early to be thinking about next year's holidays. Let's answer another one. We've got a question from Jack, who is saying, when is the best time of year to travel on these routes to Italy? And that's a really good question. Thanks for sending that in, Jack. That's a really great question. So, I mean, pretty much there is no time that you can't travel. I mean, some of the trains that we've seen, the panoramic Bernina Express, doesn't run all year. It doesn't run in the dead of winter. But the other trains will. So you can travel down, you know, pretty much whenever you like. Depends what you're looking to get out of your holiday, really. Obviously, the summer months are going to be the hottest. Some of you may like that, some of you may not. The winter months are going to be the quietest, you know, and also some of the best value trips, certainly. So if you want to spend time looking around galleries and museums and things like that, then that's definitely a great time because it will be so much quieter. Busy season in Italy is always going to be sort of at September-y time when the weather starts to cool off, but it's still very, very warm. So that's going to be the busiest time, but it is also incredibly pleasant. So, you know, it pretty much is whenever you like. Should also mention the Venice Simplon-Orient Express doesn't run all year, and it doesn't run every day, obviously, what with being such a luxury train. But if you're traveling for a special occasion and it's on, you know, obviously a particular date, as it would be, let us know and we'll plan your holiday around that and feature in the Orient-Express if we can as well. Because it does run a lot. There are lots of departures. Just obviously with a train that luxurious, with that much of a private train, it can't run every day. Okay, guys, well, thank you so much for joining us. I will let you all get back to your evening so you can go and have some tea. It's fantastic to get the opportunity to talk to all of you, so I hope I've answered all your questions, but our consultants will be in touch if you ask a question that I haven't got round to. But thank you very much, and I really hope that we see you on the next webinar. Thank you.